All right, everybody. We've got another very special. We got another very special guest.
Seriously, you could try.
Everybody, please welcome to the show, Matt Garvey. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, man.
Hello to both your listeners.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's it.
All
two of them. All two of them. It's significantly. We're gonna lose a lot of the listeners after this interview for sure. Not because of Matt, just because of us. Usually,
that's my job. My job is to turn people off your channel as much as possible
and go to your Kickstarter, right? You want them to go. You don't want them to hear this. You want them to go to not even do that.
No,
okay,
no, don't even
Kickstarter's already fulfilled. They're funded. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. So now it's just a hangout.
Yeah. Now it's like working out how much am I going to lose? Because
the Kickstarter is going to go backwards after this interview.
Pretty much.
You're starting from scratch. Yeah.
I'm going to be quiet.
Okay.
And you talk to me, and I'll only speak when spoken to.
Well, then the podcast the interview is not going to happen because we just let you talk the whole time. We don't do shit.
Sorry.
No. Yep. It's all good. Thanks for being here, Matt. We haven't been on the show yet, but I've seen It Took a Hammer to Hell. It looks like a book that I would love. I wish we talked to you about it earlier. But now let's talk to you.
You haven't read like issues 1 or 2?
I have not. No.
This guy has.
One of us has.
Now I don't feel as bad of not listening to your podcast, Mike, because you've not read my comics. I'm not listening to your podcast, so it's an even kill.
It's even kill.
Now we both need to catch up.
Chris,
I even just read this the other night.
Oh,
yeah!
Look at that!
That's gangsters versus Nazis.
Yep.
And it arrived in actually quite good condition. I'm quite impressed.
Yes.
I'm not going to try to fluff it up, but I didn't read it.
Disgust me, Mike. I'm actually going to get Chris from this point on.
It's usually one of us that reads it. Like if I read it, Chris didn't read it, but that doesn't happen as often because I'm just a piece of shit. So
digging a hole, my friend. Digging a hole that you are
what it is.
Out.
Chris is the better half of the podcast. We know this.
I can tell
from the start.
Like literally, that. All joking aside, let's be honest. Card on the table. I'm a comic creator that no one's ever heard of. Apart from a few people on Twitter. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. So the fact that you haven't read any of my comics is, I don't take insult to that. So don't worry about it. If anything, you've saved money and you've saved getting annoyed at my writing. So don't worry. If anything, you're in a bonus situation right now. So I'm up. Your expectations of me are up here, where Chris has read my books and they're down here. So
yeah. He's got some shit to talk today, that's for sure.
Mike, you didn't buy his books after we talked about big fuck off worms? Because that was...
No, I remember talking about big fuck off worms, though, because the book looks amazing.
I was the first to swear, by the way. There we go. That's a record for me being on a podcast, not being the first to swear.
Oh, really? Well, all right. Now the floodgates are open, though, so have at it if you need to.
No, I don't swear.
Oh, okay.
Like I do.
I was going to say, it's on one of your comic book covers.
Right. But there's a funny story about that, which we can talk about later. I'll tell you about the origins of that. But
okay.
Right. We've been going for like 4 minutes now, 5 minutes, and I've just basically ruined what you normally do. So again, you guys crack on, but I will talk over you.
Matt, we've had a lot worse interviews than this. I'll have you know.
Oh, good. Wow.
Dude, no, this is up towards the top of the tier list. The bottom of the tier, a lot of people don't even see those. Chris and I do, though, and it hurts sometimes.
Is that when you have someone that's so mind-numbingly boring where you go, oh, we had technical issues, we can't use the episode?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
While we're recording, I won't say yes or no because that'll give away the secret sauce.
No, of course. No, it's fine. But if you're listening, you know who you are.
You know.
You know. If your episode did appear, it's because you were shit.
I'll just say sometimes we have people that just they come on and they aren't passionate about their projects as much as we would like. I'll put it that way.
Or they're just extremely introverted, and
which we understand.
Doing this is too much for them.
Yeah.
Then why agree to be on a podcast?
I mean, you're not wrong.
That's the debate there, Matt. So After those interviews, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a call with you, and you could ask them those questions.
Well, what we could do is you could be like a Cyrano de Bergerac. I can feed stuff into them to just say.
Yeah.
So there'll be a time delay, and there'll be like a witty response. We're like, man, next question, please.
You'll say stuff like "crack on," and they'll be like, "I don't know what that fucking means," because I'm not.
It'll be like a weird CNN interview where like there's that delay for 5 seconds.
What should I say?
Or when they answer the next question, sorry, the question before the one you asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could figure it out. We probably have a better way to filter this shit. But anyways, Matt, first time on the show. Mike. What is your origin story in comics? I mean, we talked about Big Fuck Off Worms and we know you have like Voodoo Cowboy and stuff like that, but how did it get started for you? Obviously it looks like you collect a little bit, so
yeah. 5,000 comics later, I collect a little bit, yeah. And that's physical, Mike. That's not digital. That's another.
Oh yeah, right. Doesn't count the digital shit.
I'm not even counting the digital or the trade. So yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Do you want the long version or do you want the cliff notes?
I'm down for the long version.
Whatever you want to do, man. Whatever you want to
do. Okay, well, don't let my baby face fool you. Mm-hmm. I'm actually quite old. I'm like 42. I had to look at the year. 43. So I'm 42. So when I was a kid, couldn't read. I was one of those kids. Had special reading lessons, couldn't read at all. Teacher gave me a comic, loved it, wanted to find more of it. Back in the 80s, when Dad used to look after the kids in the UK. By babysitting, what they used to do is like the dads would go to the pub and the kids would go with them. And then the kids would be like Lord of the Flies outside, rain, sleet or shine. And, we would just, be feral, like throwing, sticks and stones at each other and stuff like that. If we had a football, yeah, great. But the thing is, if you've ever been to the UK,
for the Americans out there, it's a soccer ball.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake. No, it's a football. Do you know why it's a football, Chris? Because you use your fucking feet.
Hey, we use our feet in our football too, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, for about 5 seconds every 25 minutes. After about 9 stoppages, and someone has gone out of play for that. And I'm not even a sports fan, but anyway, let's digress, Chris. Remind me to interrupt your stories when I'm trying to pull my heart out. Oh, what a prick! Excuse me, terrible cough. Anyway. So if you've ever been to a pub in the UK with your parents as a kid, you'll know that if you was a kid, you never got your drinks in the pub. Like you used to go to the sweet shop, or you guys would say like the candy shop, whatever you want to call it. You'd get like a can of drinks. Like you never buy like your kids' drinks inside the pub. So went into the sweet shop that was actually next door to the pub, and I saw a Daredevil comic, and I was like, ooh. I've seen Batman TV series, reruns of that. I've seen Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and I've read a couple of comics in school. I need to know what happens in this book because, like Daredevil's on the cover and, he's saving Spider-Man, who I know. And I'm like, oh, I need to know who this guy is. He looks fucking cool. He's like just dressed in red. And I said, Dad, can you buy it for me? He's like, no. Buy your comic. What do you think I'm made of money? I'm going to buy myself another pint. So what I did on the Sunday morning, this is how bad parenting was in the 80s. Like I woke up like 7 o'clock Sunday morning. Parents are asleep. Went like half a mile, walked to this sweet shop and went and bought this comic. And I was like, yeah. So I just bought it for myself, and then that started me on like the way of just collecting comics. Then about like 5 or 6 years ago, I found out there's these actual things, comic shops, and you're like, what the flip, And that was a 2-mile walk. So every Saturday, I used to get up, and like this is like 9-year-old me, like like this is like I'm surprised I wasn't kidnapped. Let's be honest, like 9-year-old kid walking 2 miles away, like down like major roads, like this isn't like safe streets. Like walking 2 miles to a comic shop, and I was always the first there. I'd be there like at 10 to 10 in the morning, and the guy didn't open till 10. So I'd be waiting outside, and there was the most miserablest owner in the world that would just open the door and I'd come in, and he had a sign in the window that say like 2 kids at a time.
Wow!
Because he had an arcade machine in there, and all the kids would go in there and play that. And I remember sometimes I'd go there, like if I was a little bit late, like there'd be kids in there playing the game. They'd be like, I want to buy the comics, and I wasn't allowed to go in and buy the comics as the kids finished playing the games. So I used to go. You're telling me. Where is he now? No, he's still there. He's still good old Nigel. But yeah, no. So yeah, and that kind of set me on the path. So that's like what 9-10 years of me. Then I got to like the age of like 24. Big gamer, loved Xbox, loved Halo, Call of Duty, that kind of thing. And I used to play Call of Duty with my friends from uni and stuff like that. And I had this like epiphany moment where like I'd been playing the latest Call of Duty for like a year. The new one was just about to drop. And the great thing about Call of Duty is it tells you how long you've been playing. And I'd been playing for a month. Like a solid month. So I did the maths. So if you play games, like if you're listening to this and you're like, "Oh, man, I'm a gamer," like don't shit on gamers. Like, no, I'm not shitting on you, like guys. Like, if you love games, you love games. That's not like it's a great way to like socialize with your friends and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you play computer games for 2 hours a day, minimum. Most people play for more. Let's be honest. Most people play for more, especially on the weekends. If you play every day for at least 2 hours a day, that's a month. Do the maths. That is an actual month of that year. That's like 30 days of solid gameplay. No sleep, no eating. That's a solid month plan. And I just thought, do you know what? If I die tomorrow, like there is nothing to show for my life. Nothing. Like, well, what's my wife? My then get like a fiance, like now wife. Like, what is my wife gonna like be able to say to people? Like, yeah, he died. He had great XP.
He played COD with his mates.
His achievements were top tier.
You know what? He was the cannon fodder of his squad that always used to get killed first by some fucking sniper that would find the glitch and just fucking lay there.
Yeah,
and,
that's usually.
And I thought, you know what? I was a member of a couple of comic board forums like Miller World, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I've got an idea for a comic. I have no idea how to do it. It's like 14 years ago, and I know it sounds crazy, but like technology has like come across so much, got so much better in the last like 10-15 years, but like you can Google anything now and find it instantly. Then you couldn't, like you had to kind of scrape together whatever knowledge you could. So I wrote like a 10-page comic, paid an artist to work with me on it. Did that. It was terrible. Fucking loved it though. People encouraged me and said, look, Matt, it was actually really funny, do more. And that's it. And then I kept going and I kept writing, kept making them. And that was 14 years ago. And now I wish I hadn't, because I could have probably paid off my mortgage with the money that I spent on making comics. So that's the origin. So I'm trapped in my window because it's very warm in here, and I'm 4 beers in. So there we go.
There you go. Starting to sweat.
I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to blow my nose.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could fill the time.
Like, I feel like you were just called out.
I left the camera on though.
Yeah, I was. First off, I feel personally attacked by the statement. I will say I had that epiphany maybe a few years ago with the amount of certain video games that I used to play, put thousands of hours in, and I was like, wow, that's
Dota 2.
Dota 2. That's about a year of my life, and I was like, anything I could have spent a year on, I would be a fucking expert at. Yeah.
No, but it's not even like being an expert. It's like, do you know what? Like, if you're listening to this and you play computer games again, like if you like it, you love it, right? But you know what? Instead of playing for 2 hours a day, play for 1. Mm-hmm. The other hour, try something creative.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Or go for a walk, go to the gym, do something else, because I think there's so much to life, and games are great. I love computer games. Like it kills me that I haven't played like the Spider-Man games on the PlayStation, because I see people like screenshot. Yeah, like Mike just had an orgasm there.
Yeah, I did. Chris too. Yeah.
So, but it's like it's. You do what you enjoy, and if you like your games, there's nothing wrong with it. But I thought, you know what, I just want to try something. Like, I've loved comics my whole life. I think I've got a good couple of stories in me, and then I've just kind of fell down that rabbit hole of like just loving it, and it's something that probably love more than my kid.
That's all right. From what I've heard about raising kids in England, this isn't. I mean, it's all part.
I mean, they just walk around while you drink pints. So
not mine. Like mine is spoiled. Either that, or she just always smells that way.
The interesting thing, the origin story for me was the insight into raising kids in the UK in the 80s. Is just everybody's at the pub and they're all having gang fights in the streets.
Well, the kids were, the parents weren't, but like it's
right.
The 80s in the UK were fun. Yeah, it's a strange time. Yeah, the 80s were strange and everywhere. Like you guys, you're both from New York. Like you walk around Times Square in the 80s, like you would like take your life in your hands doing it. And you now look at it, and there's like people like walking around like naked, just painted, and like cowboys standing in the middle of the street playing guitar. Like if that was in the 80s, like that dude wouldn't last like 5 seconds.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he would drive through the streets.
I'm curious, A, if you know what that first comic you bought was, and then B, like what kind of comics were you reading back then? Where you're buying them?
Exactly what comic it was. It was Daredevil, and the number was, if memory serves, it was. Oh, you're gonna make me. Hang on. Do you know what? That's how bad is that? I can't remember. I remember the top. Yeah, get my words out. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that might be because I'm 4 beers in. But no, it's Daredevil 405. I've still got it. Sorry, is it 405? It's either 405 or 305. I think it's 305. It's a great cover, Surgeon General. Like this is how dark like comics could be, like in like the 90s. Like this, and literally like it's like you never did it today. There's a woman that's like picking up guys in nightclubs and basically luring them back to the apartment, drugging them, and then stealing their organs to sell on the black market.
It's fucking amazing.
It's like a Korean movie. If you've ever seen Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, it's basically the plot line from that. So like Daredevil gets like Spider-Man to go undercover in a club, even though he's married to MJ.
Get seduced.
Wearing like if you Garrett, like you have to go and see it. It's probably not like the best comic in the world, but I absolutely love it. And I read it all the time. Like Peter Parker goes to a nightclub, and I think he's wearing like double denim, and he's wearing like a striped t-shirt, and he's got like the biggest like 80s like stick-on mustache. Looks like he should be in a porn film. And like they're trying to capture this like Surgeon General and their underground network of organ, sellers. It's like it's a bit dark for a kid to. I mean,
a 9-10-year-old be reading. Yeah,
I'm googling it now. So like it came out in April 1992. So I was 10.
Yep.
There you go. So
yeah, a fantastic reading for a 10-year-old. I'll tell you this. Could have been worse.
But yeah, it was mainly Marvel at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't really get into DC until probably 5 or 6 years later. There were some great comics that I got. I mean, I was never into Batman. I always thought Batman was pretty pointless. It was a billionaire that was buying gadgets and putting people into prison when he'd be more efficient if he was putting his money into helping people. But yeah, no. But I got into Batman later on. But there was 2 comics in the mid to late 90s that were amazing, and if you've not read them, they're absolutely amazing. One is Garth Ennis and John McCrae's Hitman. Superb. Great comic, 60 issues. It's just phenomenal. It's going to be reprinted in an omnibus edition in July of this year, which is absolutely great. And the other one is a comic called Major Bummer, which was so ahead of its time. It's absolutely awesome. It's Doug Mankey did the art, and he's often done stuff with like Swamp Thing, Green Lantern.
Yeah, I know Mankey. Yep.
Yeah, and I forget the writer. I forgot his name now, but they did like the mask and stuff together. And like this is how meta like this comic was. This is like the mid-90s. It's about a guy that gets superpowers that doesn't want superpowers. Like it was so ahead of its time, and it's hilarious. There's like a Nazi T-Rex in it and stuff like that. It's just bonkers. And it originally came out through DC, but I think Dark Horse have reprinted it a couple of times, and I know you can get it digitally as well.
The covers for this series are phenomenal, Mike.
Yes. I looked at a couple.
For Major Bummer, it's hilarious.
The first in-action hero.
Oh my god!
And he's a gamer, which is quite hilarious. Like the snake is eating its tail with this conversation. So like basically, there's a guy called Lou Martin, and he's a slacker game player. He's happy just like working his like 9-to-5 job and playing computer games, and he gets a delivery, and he wakes up next morning as a superhero. And it turns out that delivery was not actually meant to be for Lewis Martin, but for a really like good lawyer who should have been a superhero called Martin Lewis. And it's basically his mistaken identity. And it turns out the whole thing, I mean, spoilers because you find this out in like the first issue or second issue. It was an experiment by 2 alien high school students that like want to create superheroes on Earth. It's just bonkers, and it just goes off on like these weird tangents. It's very 90s, but very ahead of its time, and super funny and super wrong. It's brilliant.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thanks. I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole now. Holy shit!
I just saw how much it cost to get the complete edition, and that rabbit hole might be closed.
Is that the Slacktacular edition?
Yes. Yeah. I love the cover that says the cover that says "License to Nil."
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
It's very, very like if you like stuff like The Tick, stuff like that. So it's very it's a DC book, but it's not in part of the DC continuity. It's just very much its own world, and it's just a really cool book. And yeah, it's just like that. I mean, say for DC, say it was like that. Hitman or Chuck Dixon and Scott McDaniel's Nightwing. And ironically, and I didn't find this out until years later, but like the first Daredevil comic I bought, the Surgeon General one, was actually Scott McDaniel's art as well. But if you look at his art from there and what he did on Nightwing like 5 or 6 years later, like different eyes, like they look completely different. And I had like I was this years old until I realized that.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Well,
see, I could talk comics all day.
Yeah, I know. This is great.
It's
nice.
It's good what this podcast is about.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love
it. This is about comics, isn't it?
And
like, I'm not meant to take my shirt off or anything.
No, I mean,
it's one of them. One of them.
I don't know how many of those podcasts you've been going on, but I think you finally got to the right one. I mean, it is interesting though, because I mean, you obviously are a collector and you love talking about comics, but like we get some creators we talk to that really aren't collectors anymore or reading a lot of stuff, or they kind of just are in what they're doing, but it's always fun to talk to another collector. But
yeah, I mean, I like people. Do you know what? I know the type of comic creators that you're talking about. You know, they're very much like trying to make their comics. They're not interested in comics. They're not interested in reading old comics. They're interested in reading new comics, but they just want to make comics. Yeah, fine, go for it. You know, but me, you know, it was like it means the world to me. Always has. You know, and even if I gave up making my own comics tomorrow, I'd still be reading them, and vice versa. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Definitely. So you are still getting your books every week. What's some stuff recently that you've been picking up?
I'll be honest with you. It's thinned down a lot recently. Cost of living crisis. But I still get my Daredevil and that kind of thing. I'm a bit behind on it. I'll be honest with you. I still get floppies. They come through like every 2 to 3 weeks or so, because I get them online from a comic shop that I know. And then I read a lot of stuff digitally now, just because. You know, I've got a 4-year-old, and it's not. And one, it's space. I mean, you look at me like this room's freaking rammed. Above me, there's 20 long boxes in my loft or attic, as you guys would say.
Yep.
You know, because you butchered our language.
Yeah, sorry.
You know,
Listen, we won the war. I don't know what to tell
you. You dropped a bomb on Japan because they attacked Pearl Harbor.
Well, and we made movies about it.
Bad movies.
Yeah.
Bad movies about it.
Yeah.
You know, I know for all of England. Thank you very much. Well, if it weren't for you guys, we'd be speaking German. Unlike Chris, who is German, I can't speak it.
Yeah, well, that's we fucked it all up there. I don't know how that happened.
Pretty much. No, do you know what? I love Americans. I think you guys are awesome. And in fact, New York is my second favorite city in the world. So I'll leave it. But yeah, London's the best. And that's not me being egotistical because I live near London. It's just because, like, if you've ever been to London, it's the most beautiful city in the world. Like, it's got everything you could ever want from a city. New York, I love because I've been there a couple of times, and it's just it's like walking around a comic. It's like walking around a film. So that's why I love it.
It's true. Yeah, it's very cinematic. Yeah.
Thanks for agreeing, Mike. Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking. No, I mean, like, you feel like you're part of something that's like, yeah.
You're quite an accommodating host, Mike.
No, but I just think it just smells like shit there. So I don't. To me, it smells awful.
I feel like I could have said anything and you would have agreed to me.
No. Try something else that I wouldn't agree with. I don't know, like. I don't know.
Let's not go there.
No, we don't need to go.
Yeah. Just tell him that the Yankees are the best baseball team in the world.
See how he agrees. I would not agree with that. No way.
Like the first time I went to New York, I was gutted because I went to I went with my brother, who's a complete piece of shit, and we wanted to do the tour at Yankee Stadium, and he was such an idiot getting ready. Like, we missed the tour. I was like, so yeah, so I haven't spoken to him since.
Good.
But as for collecting, yeah, the reason why I like to collect digitally because I've got a 4-year-old, so it means that I can read any time of the day. Like if my wife falls asleep next to me, I can read, or if she's watching something, I can read. Because I still enjoy reading comics, new comics, old comics, indie comics, small press books. Like I love reading. I get a lot because of my YouTube channel. I get a lot of people reach out and ask me to read their first comics and give them critiques and like how they can improve and stuff. So like I'm always reading comics. Like so it's kind of in my DNA. And I know that sounds like quite a douchey thing to say, but like I'm 30 years in. It's like I'm always thinking about comics. I mean, I'm talking to you now, Mike, and I'm thinking about I should be reading because it'd be more fun. I'm joking, Mike. You're lovely.
That's a thought I have all the time when I'm doing the show. So
yeah, when Chris is talking to me, he's like, "What the fuck, man? Why are we doing this?"
See, when Chris is talking to you, Mike, Chris is actually thinking about comics he'd rather be reading. He's like,
"Yeah,
I know. I should really be reading like Major Bummer now."
This is like hour of my life I'll never get back.
But you get to edit it as well and rerun it and then try and promote it. So it's not just an hour you won't get back. It's probably like 10 hours.
I was gonna say it's an hour of Mike's life he doesn't
get
back.
Yeah, several hours of Chris's life.
Somebody else has more time in on this.
Yeah, Chris does quite a bit more.
All joking aside, I'm liking the Alex Ross picture behind you from Batman 66, but that's just me.
Yeah, I'm a big 60s Batman fan.
But it's the fact that you're so ashamed of your background, you have to have that there. I don't know. I'm worried what's behind you. I imagine it's like a family, like tied to chairs. You just like moved into that.
At this point, it's remained such a mystery that I don't think I will reveal what's behind me.
Lenny in that episode of The Simpsons, like when the front of his house comes down.
Yeah.
He's like, "Please don't tell people how I live."
Yes, yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah, but there are dead bodies, so you wouldn't believe
that just brought the mood down, Mike.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chris, how are you? Mike's got a dark side.
Matt, we established like you've been into comics, writing comics for a while. I remember when I first saw you on Kickstarter, and that was with Voodoo Cowboy.
Yep.
Was that the first thing you did on Kickstarter, or when did you get started in that whole field?
Right. So one of my first comics was a comic about a punk band called Chunks, which in itself is a funny story of where I wrote it. If you can tell that story, I'll happily tell that story. But I made the first two. I self-funded the first two with an amazing Italian artist called Chris Canfalia. Still friends with him now. Lovely guy. And I thought, what? I've got 2 books. So why don't I kickstart them both together to help fund the third? Because there's 2 books. They're complete. They're done. And the Kickstarter fell on its ass. Like I wanted like $3,500. I think I raised like 1,500 quid. I was like, oh. So I did that thing. Have you ever seen that film, The Grey?
Yeah.
With like Liam Neeson, where he's at the end, where he's like, just give me a sign. Just like help me out. And he's like, fuck it, I do it myself. So like after that Kickstarter flop, I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna do it myself, and that's what I did for like 7-8 years. But just self-funded, self-published, saved up all my money, like paid artists to do that kind of thing. And then my wife decided to get pregnant. I may have had something to do with that. I can't confirm or deny that. So like money started to get a lot tighter, and I was like, right, I need to kind of rethink the whole Kickstarter way of doing it. Not to pay for comics because it never covers the cost for like the art and the colors and that kind of thing, but to help subsidize it. So if you look on like my history, like you'll see like chunks from like 10 years ago where I did that, it fell on its ass. Then you've got like 18 months ago where I started again with Voodoo Cowboy, done really well, and then I've done like 6 in the last like 18 months or so.
And do you see, like, as someone who has been using Kickstarter for a while, have you seen it change over? Like, I mean, obviously you're growing your fan base and stuff, but has it changed from like project to project at all? Like dealing with it?
It really depends on the project. And there is like, to help subsidize the cost was one reason why I did it, but it's the same reason why I started my own YouTube channel as well. Is because and this isn't me being forward thinking at all because I'm an idiot, and I will happily admit that. But I don't know if you remember, like a couple of years ago, like a guy bought Twitter, and it all went to shit, and people started leaving in droves.
Oh yeah.
And then people started going, it's ruined my my livelihood because everyone's not on the platform anymore. I used to use it for like find some kind of like had the realization of like, do you know what? At any point, like someone could turn this off,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd have nothing. So I thought, do you know what? For a couple of reasons, because like COVID and stuff I decided to start my own YouTube channel, like helping people, make their own comics. So like, I thought, do you know what? The more avenues I'm on, the more I'm growing my audience on different platforms. If
Mm-hmm.
one of them was to switch off, the base of my support is still going to be there in some point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to build up a certain area, but if I've got Twitter, if I've got Instagram, if I've got YouTube, if I've got Kickstarter, like they are all different audiences. Like there is going to be some kind of crossover there. But if you turn Twitter off tomorrow, or if I left Twitter tomorrow, I've got to be fair, I haven't posted in a while because I've been busy making comics. But I've got like 4.5 subscribers on YouTube. I've got a few 1,000 followers on on other platforms, that kind of thing, and when I do Kickstarters, I know that I'm going to get at least 200 to 400 backers on a comic. So there's different audiences there. So I'm never going to be starting from scratch again because that's the worst thing in the world. And that's what people don't think. They put all their heart and soul into one platform, and there's nothing wrong with that because that's what you're passionate about. But like again, someone flicks that switch.
Yeah, you lost
Where's
it all.
your income going to come from?
Right.
So
yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, for sure, like starting off and getting your foot in the door with a YouTube channel and shit, from our experience, is not the easiest to grow it. But yeah,
exactly. And I think the thing people were like really can't get their heads around that they think it's going to be a quick solution to anything. Like I was on YouTube for like 18 months, nearly 2 years before I got to my first 1,000 subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
And that was me posting every week religiously, doing a video, spending like 5 or 6 hours recording because I'm an idiot, and then trying to edit it because I'm an idiot, and then trying to do the SEO on it because I'm an idiot. And like now I just like I'll do it in like 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll edit it in like half an hour to an hour, then I post it. But I think people think, do you know what? I'm just going to post, and then people are going to love it, and I'm going to be a superstar. And it don't work like that.
No.
You have to build like it's that thing. Like you always see like the graphs of people like how to be successful on YouTube, and you see people like that they peter along, and then suddenly it's because it takes time to grow, and algorithms are great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
love an algorithm.
Lovely, love them. Yeah.
It's always the overnight success story. Like nobody sees the 10 years prior to all that work you put into your overnight success. And people don't realize, because I have people ask me all the time about like starting a podcast or doing this or that.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, here's the barriers. And I just lay it out like, this is the money you're going to have to spend up front. This is how long you're going to have to do it before you see people even touch it other than your mother and your best friend.
Like, people don't like the truth, do they, Chris? They really don't like it.
I drop the truth bomb, and usually I get the, oh, well, I don't know, maybe not then.
Yeah.
And it's like,
right.
I would rather tell someone flat out and they quit right away than to be like, well, you never told me it was going to be this hard.
Yeah. Right.
Sounds like comics. Yeah. Sounds like comics. People think, again, like, and this is me not shit on anyone, but like I've been there where like I've been at conventions, like someone's got their first comic, like, well, I've put my heart and soul into this comic. If this doesn't break me in, like I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm like 14 years and 31 comics in.
Yeah.
Good luck to you. And do you know what?
Good luck.
Those pricks always break in. No, I'm joking. They don't. They fall.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. Like Chris, you hit the nail on the head completely. Like I've got some friends that work in the industry, like proper professionals, and like a couple of them said, like I've been accused of being overnight successes, and they don't see like the 14 years of me like eating beans on toast, like working, living at home still and stuff like that. It just like put in the hours, the grinding, and then suddenly someone gives you that chance, and then like you ride that wave. Like you do not step off that wave, and like I don't care if people are accusing you of selling out, going against everything you stand for, like with regards like the stories that you were telling before. Like no, like if you get a chance to work for Marvel or DC, you ride that wave because you never know when the next one's going to come. So just do it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And a lot of guys can take that wave and make it into an independent thing afterwards too. I mean, look what Brubaker did back in the day, and Kirkman, so on and so forth.
Well, Brubaker always says, I remember reading an interview with him, he said he made more from his cameo in the Winter Soldier movie than he did for creating the character.
Yeah,
I think that's genius.
Yeah, when he said that, it's wild.
It's like,
but him doing that Captain America run that everybody loved, myself included, is what gave him an audience that followed him over to Image to make his crime books, which thank God for that, because I love those books.
Yeah, no, I think that him and Sean Phillips, I think they're an amazing duo. You know, like Fade Out and Fatal and stuff like that. They're genius, proper works of like crime noir, which I absolutely eat up every minute of the day.
Same here. Every time they announce something, and I kind of like now that they're just like, we're just going to do OGNs because all you fuckers buy my first issue and then nothing else. So I'm going to make you buy the whole thing now. I'm like, that's fine.
It's the way to do it, though. It's like, you know, once you see this thing, there's a theory, you know, being real geeky, there's a theory of like 1,000 fans. Once you've got like 1,000 fans that support you, like you can earn a living. You know, so if they've got like a fan base of 50, 60,000 people that buy that graphic novel digitally, then another like, you know, physically, then like another like 15, 20 that will buy digitally. Yeah, just means, you know, Image will always keep making their books because they're always going to be making money for them. And that's what it's about. I know it sounds really, really horrible. It is about making money. And I know that's a horrible thing to say, but people always want to break into comics, but they don't realize it's actually the comics business. There is actually that second half where, you know, there is a business aspect to it, like Marvel and DC and Image and Dark Horse and, you know, AWA and, you know, Mad Cat. They're not making comics just because they're fun, because the thing about they are fun,
right?
But there is a monetary aspect to it.
They want to profit.
You know, it puts a roof over your head and food in your belly.
Yep, that helps.
Capitalism, bastards.
Let's talk about the Kickstarter a little bit, because I mean, you kind of touched on that the book is already done and everything, but the goal for the funding was only $600, which is significantly lower than we see for a lot of projects and stuff like that. But obviously, you're at more than that. I mean, you have almost 200 backers, so the book's finished, right? And you said you do that with all your Kickstarter projects.
So yeah, let's So let's dial it back a second. So like, if you're a new creator, you want to do a comic. Most people go, right, okay, so like my cost for, you know, for art, for colors, for letters, you know, it's going to cost me between like $4,000 and $5,000. You know, to be able to like to cover those costs, and they're just average numbers. They're not, you know, it depends on like the artist you use and the, you know, the letter you use and that kind of thing. So people will like first time creators will like set their goal for like $8,000. Think, oh, do you know what? I'll cover the cost and then there's a little bit of profit in there, that kind of thing. And unless you found like the next Jim Lee to draw your book, you are not going to make that money. Like, it's very rare that a first time creator is going to hit $8,000, $10,000 on a book. So from my point of view, he's like, I know I'm going to lose money. Like, and I'm prepared to do that. I know that sounds horrible. Like, oh, dude, you lose money. Like, yeah. But he's like, how much am I prepared to lose? Right. So, Chris, you very kindly, you know, threw up a, you know, a copy of like Gangsters versus Nazis that, you know, that was my last Kickstarter, which I did last month. That's my biggest. Oh, bless you. Thank you. I like you, Chris. You can come again. But you know, that was my most successful Kickstarter, and I will be honestly tell you, the amount of profit I actually made after, and this doesn't include the art. Like, so this doesn't include like money I paid out for art, right? The money I made from the Kickstarter after like printing costs, fees, postage, I walked away with around £800, which is about $1,000. Okay, that doesn't cover the costs for the art.
Nope.
I coloured it myself badly, so I saved the money for the colours there. I lettered it as well, so you know I didn't have to pay for, you know, a letter of that kind of thing, and I still did not cover the costs of the art. So, like, most people go, like, why would you do that? Okay, but I made $1,000. Better than me having to pay, you know, X amount for the art. I've paid £1,000 less for the art because I've subsidised it from what I do. But what I also do is, within that print run, I will print, an extra 100 copies, 150 comics in there, which have no cost to me because I haven't paid for them. Because normally it costs me, $2 a book to print. Then I sell it for $4 and I make $2 a book. But if I've printed an extra 100, this is really boring and we're talking about maths now. But I've got I've got a Comic-Con next month, and I know I will sell 100 copies of Gangsters versus Nazis easily because I work my flipping ass off for Comic-Con, and we can talk about that in a minute if you want. But I'm going to sell 100 books, and I'm going to sell them at £4 each. So I'm going to make £400 for that book, as well as the other £1,000. £800 that I made. So that's going to be that's like $1,600 that I've made on that book. Still doesn't cover the art, but it's helped subsidize. So the rest of that cost of the art, I claw back over the next 2 and 3 years of doing Comic-Cons and selling that book, building on my readership, doing the next Kickstarter. Hopefully that audience grows. So I make I lose a little bit less. And then the next one, I lose a little bit less to a point where hopefully I will break even. Hopefully. So that's how it works. It's not happened yet.
One day.
But that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, look at since you started doing Voodoo Cowboy, and you said it's been 18 months. And you've put out quick math, is it 8 books since then?
Oh, well, on actual Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's go to the Kickstarter. Let's have a look. So how many have I done?
We scroll on down.
Right,
we'll go through all this later, people.
Chunks to my first one that failed in 2015. That was my first one. So
the Voodoo Cowboy.
Yep.
It was in April 2022. So like 2 years ago. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is my 8th Kickstarter in 2 years. For I Took a Hammer to Hell issue 3.
Awesome. That's a lot of work within a couple of years.
31 books in 10 years. That's how many I've self-published and self-financed. And you've got to say, it's only the last 8 where I've helped to subsidize that cost by doing Kickstarter. Everything else is just all me.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about bringing some of those other books to Kickstarter in the future? The ones that you self-published earlier on?
See, but it's one of those things. It's like I'd feel bad. I don't know if the community would be like, oh, you've had that book out for years, so why would you Kickstart it now? It's like, is it only for new books or trade? I don't know. Like at the moment, I know I've got obviously Hammer to Hell issue 3, which is is funding now. Issue 4 is in the works, so we've got we're doing that. David's working on Chances Are issue 2. Totty's working on Big Fuck Off Worms issue 3. And Andrea's working on Gangsters vs. Nazis issue 2. So I kind of don't need to go back to the pool of stuff that I've already created and Kickstarter that because, my last Kickstarter finished last month. This Kickstarter started this month. So I'm constantly putting in 4 to 6 books a year now doing this.
And you offer all your older books too, like the first couple issues through your campaigns, right? Like with this one.
Yeah. So I always believe that comics should be affordable. No one should not be able to afford comics. So that's why the physical comics are £4, which I think is $5, something like that.
It's really affordable. Yeah.
Bless you, thank you. But then you got when you add on the postage, that's when you're like, oh, so that's why he's putting it at a reasonable price because he's not tearing the arse out of it. But then you look at the digital copies, they're $2 a piece, and then you look at the digital packages that I do. So you can get 20. I mean, it says 25, but there's 28 comics, $12 in the digital, the ultimate digital package. That's my entire back catalog of comics for $10.
Yeah,
and those again, it should be reasonably priced. And that's not me poo-pooing on people that want to charge $10 for their book. That's fine. You charge whatever you want. Again, I want to build up the readership, so I want to put the reasonable price, and I want readers to support me, and people come back.
Right. And we always talked about digital rewards are always, it's free money that's sitting there. If some campaigns don't have them, and it's for me, I'm all digital now, but to me, that makes the most sense, just to throw it up there and not have it that expensive. But
yeah, I think it makes sense. I think in a digital world, if you're paying, like $1 on iTunes for a song, you're paying, $3-4 on, Global Comics or Amazon or Comixology or Amazon, whatever you want to call it now, for a comic. I'm a small nobody. I don't think $2 is too much to ask for, a risk on a comic you've never heard. Again, I mean, Chris, hopefully you've seen, and this is not like, I'm going to sound like such a douchebag now. This is not me being egotistical as well. Like when you got like Gangsters versus Nazis through the post, was it printed on good paper? Like, did it feel like a comic? Like, oh, they haven't done this cheap, or if it did, tell me, because I want that on his feedback. And if you shit on me, I'm gonna come at you.
Here we go. It's a deep breath.
So I put first, the books are always great, good quality. It's on par with anything else I'm getting on Kickstarter with the top tier creators. So I have no complaints about that. I think you hire great artists. Like, we can talk about Gangster vs. Nazis if you want. I love the art style in this. And it's funny, I didn't realize that you colored it, because I thought the coloring was a good part of that, like, cartoony style you did with it. And the other thing I will give you a huge credit for, I always say this with Frank Martin on the Kickstarter as well, like, your turnaround is awesome. Like, the book is funded, and it seems like as soon as that money hits your account, the books are almost out, because I get them so much faster than anybody else. And Frank's another guy that does that. It feels like as soon as the campaign's over, he's got them in the mail.
The reason why I was asking about the quality is because I'm very fortunate here in the UK. There's a few comic shops that stock my books, so I want those books to sit on the shelves with the Marvel, the DC, the Image, the DC books, so the Dark Horse books, the AWA, the Mad Cave books. And I want them to look as good, if not better, than what the books are from the big publishers. So if someone goes to that comic shop and that cover speaks to them, that title speaks to them, they're like, oh, I'll give that a try. And it's actually quite a little bit cheaper than what the publishers are doing. I want them to take that risk on me. So that's why I pay a little bit extra for the paper stock, to make it look like a professional comic. That is why. And that's why. And with regards like shipping out, like, I never kickstart a book unless it's 100% done. One, because I don't want the stress of having to like produce a book while people are waiting for it. Because we've all been there waiting like 12 months. Oh, that's a cute cat.
Greedo.
That's my buddy Greedo.
Oh, hello. But yeah, like, there's nothing worse than like waiting for that's not saying enough word. I personally, for me, I don't want people waiting for a product that they've paid for, because I know people see Kickstarter as a crowdfunding platform. It's not really. It's a pre-order service, is the way to look at it, because you're if it wasn't a pre-order service, people wouldn't get all bent out of shape if something's late, because you'd be like, oh, it's creator owned, like, oh, something's gone wrong, they're taking their time. It's not. It's pre-order. Like, you're pre-ordering a book. I bought a gimbal for my camera, and people were going mental because they were a month late delivering it. It's like, no, I only kickstart books that 100% finished. So once the campaign's finished, I will usually take the hit on my. This is terrible to admit. I'll take the hit on my credit card and pay for the print run. So as soon as the print run arrives, I'll start shipping the books before I've even been paid by Kickstarter. Because if Hammer Tale 3 is finished today, now, it's gonna take 3 weeks before Kickstarter pays me out. So that's 3 weeks from the Kickstarter finishing before people get their books. And if people have to wait to get paid and then go to print, so print's like another week, 2 weeks, and then you're talking like another month of fulfillment, like, depending on how many you've got. So you're talking like 3 months there, and I've got the book ready. So if you don't have your book ready, so like, as soon as that's the whole reason why I ran the Hammer Tale 3 Kickstarter literally like the day after Gangsters finished. It's because I was shipping those bad boys out as soon as that campaign finished. Like, you've paid, your books are going out.
That was a perfect segue for us. You just set us up for Hammer Hell 3.
It's like I've done this before, Mike.
Yeah, I think your YouTube channel experience might have helped out a little.
No, I'm a salesman. In my day,
you gotta.
I talk for a living.
I mean, we're only about an hour in now. We gotta try to promote you as best we can.
No, don't. No, honestly, no, don't promote me. Like, do not back my books.
All right, close it up, Chris. We're done. No, took a hammer to hell. I took a hammer to hell. Oh my god, I took a hammer to hell. Number 3.
He got there, everyone.
Holy shit! Is out right now.
And you've not even had a beer yet, Mike.
I know it's early for us over here. I had my coffee, and you think I'd be fucking okay, but give us the lowdown on what is this book? Who's this character? Can you give us the quick synopsis here?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was inspired by an idea that I had for Ghost Rider.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's a tweet about it. It's like, do you know what? I had an idea about Johnny Blaze going into hell to kill the devil as Johnny Blaze, not as Ghost Rider. I thought, you know what? How cool would it be if, like, the devil's always after, so Mephisto's always after Johnny Blaze, to get his soul, for giving it up, for coming, like, the Ghost Rider, that kind of thing. What if Johnny was like, do you know what? Fuck you. I'm bringing the fight to you. And then Johnny goes through like the 9 levels of hell, just like killing everyone, like re-killing all the people that are dead in the Marvel universe. I thought that was like an epic idea. I thought, oh, good for that be. And then I realized, like, Marvel were never going to hire me. Like, that's not going to work. So I thought, why don't I just tweak it? I make it about an everyday guy that gets put into an awkward position where he has to sell his soul to the devil. But I mean, Chris, you've read it. Mike, you couldn't be bothered. But I have a different twist on that. Yeah, sorry, Mike. I'm looking at you.
I was gonna back it, but after that, I was just fucking. But, I do have Voodoo Cowboy. It's just digital, so I can't hold it up because it is.
Wow, you paid a whole $2.
I did.
Cheers,
I
Mike.
did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
so you're welcome for that.
That will heat my house for about 30 seconds.
Hey, it helps. Anything helps. I did my part.
Well, in fact, I'm going to refund you your money. I don't want your money. Your money's no good here. All joking aside, I like it really much. So my little twist on that is like Jake, the main character. He's in a drunk driving accident. And his best friend's killed and his girlfriend's killed. So normally, like, when the devil asks you to sell your soul, you save one person. Jake has the pressure of, like, who do I choose? Do I choose the woman I love or my best friend? Awkward. So he chooses sex. He chooses his girlfriend.
Of course.
So that's what he chooses. But then instead of, like, waiting for the devil to collect his soul, he decides to, do you know what? Screw it. A couple of days before he's due to go to hell and his soul's going to be repossessed, he takes a hammer to his hand, goes into hell to kill the devil. So it's all about him. So it like the first. If you've read the first issue, which obviously we've clarified that Mike hasn't, it's all about rage. Like, the first issue is rage. Like you feel angry because if you've ever been in that position where why is the world shitting on me? Like, I'm a good person. I try and do good things. And, like, the world's just like shit. That's what the first issue is. It's pure rage. And then as you read the other issues without spoiling anything, there's different emotions involved that I'm kind of screwing with the audience with. And yeah, so it's more than it appears to be with regards to like just a revenge comic. The premise is like it's John Wick in hell, but there's more to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
We can talk about the art too. The art's fantastic, and so are the colors.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about the rest of the team?
No.
No. Okay. Fuck it.
No. It's all about me, Mike. They're not here. I'm here. No. Jarvis Malili on art. He's just absolutely amazing. I believe he's from your neck of the woods. He's from New York originally.
Mm-hmm.
Now lives in Japan. He's an art tutor. He's an amazing artist. I approached him for the book because I really liked his style. I thought it'd be really, really good for it, and he has not disappointed me at all. He has crushed every issue, especially the latest issue, because it's a little bit different from the other issues. Again, no spoilers. And then you've got Fabi Marquez on on colors. She's absolutely crushing it. Doing her thing on it. And yeah, she's just leveled. Not that the art needed to be leveled up, but she's elevated it to a level where it just looks absolutely beautiful. And the pages you're looking at there, they're just from the first issue. It's evolving as we're going, like all comics tend to do. So yeah, no, I'm really, really proud of it. And even though we're on issue 3 now that we're kickstarting, we're already working on issue 4 as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know I should have been reading it. I should have read it, but I will say when I looked at it this morning, I'm like, fuck, I should have backed it already. And I
Mike,
do truly,
I
don't feel bad, but I thought about feeling bad this morning. So
well,
I thought about having that feeling.
Yourself feeling bad makes me feel good. That sounded wrong.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So and you're offering, like, we could talk about what you're offering, because that digital package with 25 comics is a crazy good deal for, like, you know,
$28. It's actually 28 because
28. Sorry.
It says 25 on Kickstarter, but it's actually 28.
That's a surprise, everybody. Sorry, we buried that.
No,
3 comics for free.
Yeah,
exactly, and plus all the variants. So if you want to include the variants, you're talking like 40 odd books in there for like $10, £10, $12. Yeah, that's a bargain. I mean, they're all shit.
Yeah. Can we talk about I really like the black and white versions. What was your idea to do that? Was that just
to make more money?
Okay, perfect. That's what I thought.
So then why didn't you make not safe for work covers?
Yeah. Yeah, why didn't you do the cheesecake covers?
See, right. So someone whose name I shall not mention, was making some tweets. I said a tweet about this a couple of months ago, and someone was like, "Oh, someone's being salty." It's like, no, I was looking at Kickstarter. It's like I've seen a few people run Kickstarters that haven't done very well, not done very well, but they've hit their targets, but they've not got into the 10, 15, to 20. And then a couple of people have done not suitable for work comics, where it's all big boobs and sex orientated.
Mm-hmm.
Those comics on Kickstarter, and I'm like, I feel like I should be writing this stuff. I'm like, but I wouldn't know how. I mean, I can't even please myself, let alone anyone else. But yeah, no, it's the not suitable for work stuff is it's huge. But the black and white comics is I like seeing the art as the artist intended. Not again. The whole point about comics is you have the art. Then you have the colors that elevate the art. Then you have the letters, which will accentuate the art to a different level as well, because there's nothing worse than having bad letters on great art. I love a black and white edition of a book, or a director's cut of the DC books, that kind of thing, where it just shows you some Greg Capullo's art or Jason Fabrook's art in pencils or black and white, that kind of thing. So it's I quite like the idea of a black and white version as well. So that was the real reason for it, and money.
Cool. No, I thought it was a really cool idea.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, I'm excited to finally read these books. I will not lie to you now, but I did earlier. But
is it
because of me, or because of the books? Is it because you? Matt's a nice guy. I want to.
No, yeah, I thought I really I know I see that you're passionate. I see how much you love comics, so that gets me excited about it too. And I mean, you're at $2,800 right now. You almost have 200 backers, but almost a month to go. I think that's awesome. I mean, you've established a fan base, right? So I think that's really cool. Obviously, the work you put in is starting to pay off. You're starting to get people following you in the projects you're doing. So,
thank you.
Yeah. Is there, before we wrap up, I mean, is there anything you want to say about the project itself? I mean, you have hit that goal, but is there anything you want to tell people that are listening or watching about what else they can get out of it? But
any stretch goals coming or
no do stretch goals.
Okay.
Can't be asked. The book's £4. Come on, what more do you want?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Seriously,
it simple. No,
I'm already losing money. How much do you want me to lose? It's like pouring sugar in your own gas tank. Why would you do that?
This man has done it, but why would you?
Why would you? Oh, I'm going to put a book play in it. I'm going to lose even more money.
That's true.
I'm already not making a profit.
The things I don't think about. Yeah, it's I got a nice bookmark, but I paid $10 for my book.
You know what? Bless him. There was a guy, I forgot his name now. On chances are, I did stretch goals for that. So we had an option where you could get a poker chip. I was that's really cool. That looks good. And then I thought, let's do a stretch goal. So I did I did a baseball card, which I thought was cool. So I got David the Ice, who's amazing eyes. I designed it. He did the image. So I designed the baseball card, set up to printers, and out of, I mean, how many backers did we have? So we had 220 backers, and I think 170 of those were physical. there was one baseball card that I forgot to put in, and I felt terrible for it. I didn't know this, and this guy in Germany was like, "Back to the Germans again, Chris. You have forgotten my baseball card. This is why is there no baseball card?" I'm like, I'm really sorry. It's like, I want my baseball card. I'm like, dude, I'm like, it's gonna cost me like $10 to send you a baseball card, which is more than the cost, more than you actually pledged. It's like, I'll refund you your money. He's like, no, I want my baseball card. So I sent him like the digital package. Like, I have terrible accents as well. I don't even know.
No, that's great.
It was good. And, so I sent him like the digital package. Like, look, I'm not going to send you the baseball card. I'm really sorry about that. If you back another book, I'll make sure that there's a baseball card in there for you because I've still got more. But the cost to ship it to Germany outweighs the cost of actually doing it. So here's the digital package. Like, there's 25 comics in there for, hopefully that will appease. Eventually he was happy, and this is a long way of me saying, like, this is why I change stretch goals, because
that's
on my floor, which you can't see, like there's piles of comics that I've been shipping, and I've got some left in there, but like literally like doing like the gangsters versus Nazis one, like there was piles everywhere, like there's, and I'm one guy. Like you're not dealing with like a a $1 billion corporation. You're dealing with an idiot. But again, I'm going to keep reiterating, I'm an idiot. Like I'm human, and I make mistakes. And and like I had one guy the other day, like he same as you, Chris. Like he bought like, did you buy just the single copy?
Yeah.
Cheapskate.
I'm an A cover kind of guy.
And he was as well. And and I use like I don't think they're too bad. Like they're cardboard envelopes. They're pretty decent. Like they're going to get dinged up because it's going international. And there was one guy's like it was water damage. I was like, right. First of all, that's not my fault. Like the fact that your postal service is shit, that's not my fault. But and he was like, I think you should use better envelopes. I was like, dude, if you're going to buy one comic, and I will happily use bigger envelopes, but it's going to push the postage up like silly high, which means I'm going to lose, like a lot of backers. If people buy 3 comics, I use a nice fit corrugated envelope that really wraps around them and like. But for one comic, it's not going to do it. So I refunded his money straight away because it was the right thing to do. It was like, dude, look, I'm sorry your comic came damaged. There's your money back. Apologies. Hopefully this won't put you off from doing it. But just to let you know, like I appreciate your feedback. Like, but for one book, that's the only envelope I can use because of the cost. You back more, I'll use the big envelopes. He's like, I appreciate your feedback and thanks for the customer service. Like, yeah, it's fine. Like if you've got a problem, just refund people straight away.
You're completely transparent about the situation and the reality of it all.
And you do something that I thought was standard practice, but I've learned recently is not. That is really important too. Is you bag and board the book inside of that.
Please, everybody.
Don't board. I don't board. I bag. I bag because boards. Like I got time for that.
Yeah. At least like sealing the comic, but.
Yeah, at least get it in the bag, but you put it. The envelope I get for you every time it's fine. Is a Gemini mailer better? Yeah, but like I know how much those cost, and I understand. At least you put effort into your mailer.
Cannot even get them in the UK. So for those at home, I'm going to read something. Okay, so this is my standard cardboard envelope. Like these things are rigid. So when Chris gets comic, this is what you go. So like this is me banging the fuck out of it, right? So that's pretty good. Right,
it's
so
pretty heavy duty,
but end of the day, it's cardboard. It's going to get bent. If your postman's a dick, your postman's going to bend your comic. Like, so that's all I can afford to ship for one comic because otherwise the postage is going to be like crazy. But you get 3 comics, you get a massive envelope that wraps around. That's going to give it that extra bit of padding. And if I could do that for every comic, I would. But what do you want? Do you want to pay more for shipping, which is already high? It's one of those things. So, get off my dick.
And the moral of the story is buy more than one comic from the project.
I really thought Mike was going to say buy the $2 digital right there.
I'll say buy 3 comics, go to the Kickstarter, do that. That's what you should.
You know what I like about you, Mike?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah, nothing. Perfect. I completely agree with this guy. No,
but you know what? That digital is a great option. It's but that's the whole thing. Is like they're £4 a comic. and there's a reason why they fork away the comic, because I want them to ship. If people do buy more, like I think the extra shipping per comic is like £1. So it's again, I'm not making money off the I'm not taking the piss.
Right.
It's probably the way to look at it.
Well, I'm excited about it. I will be back.
You look so excited, Mike.
I'm so excited.
How are you containing yourself right
now? I didn't think we'd get into packaging discussion today, but I've really so fucking amped up from it that I can't get my excitement.
I'd hate to see you when you're not excited.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Matt, man, thanks for taking so much time today.
I'm not going.
Yeah, no, you can stick around for the rest of the show. It was great talking to you. And I think our listeners, our viewers would be interested in your YouTube channel if you want to drop that. No?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm really not into promoting myself.
Okay.
Really not.
All right. So nowhere you don't want to send them anywhere to follow you and all the stupid shit you're doing, or
couldn't give a toss. No. I know I do have a YouTube channel. So if you've ever wanted to make a comic, and I promise you, again, I'm going to say, look at the camera right now. Look, I'm an idiot, and I will happily admit that. If I can make a comic, anyone can. It's really like making comics is really actually quite easy. It just takes time, it takes patience, and a little bit of investment yourself. So it's I have a channel where I show people how to make a comic. It's really not that difficult. It's just learning structure. And I did it because during COVID, before COVID, I used to do Comic Cons, and people used to shy. People used to come up to the table and just go like, "How do you make a comic?" And I'd go through the process, and then COVID happened, and I thought, you know what, just put it online so people have got it. So when people come up to me at Comic Cons and ask me, I say, "Check out the YouTube channel. Get away from my table."
Great approach.
It is.
So I guess.
So anyway, what are you guys doing for the rest of the day?
That's
reading
comics. Reading comics.
What else are you talking about on the channel today? What have I missed? So I've come in halfway through.
Let's see.
This is all pre-recorded, by the way, guys.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see, Death in the Family, Robin Lives 4-issue miniseries coming this summer.
Yeah.
Rob Liefeld is announced his memoirs are coming in early 2025.
Yeah, titled Robservations. Huh?
No, it should be called Capped Boobs and No Feet. That's what it should be called.
It should be called Button Up Fly because it's the only thing he's good for.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mad Cave's new series, The Last Wardens.
Sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, we got some director news for Supergirl. We got a new Silver Surfer in the MCU.
Oh yeah,
I'm all for that.
Yeah,
I saw the announcement. I was like, do you know what? Yeah, she looks perfect for it.
Yeah,
I can't remember where I'd seen her, and I've seen her in something, and it's really good.
She was really good in that fucking crime show that I can't think of the name right now.
When it was first announced, I was like, "Oh, really?" But then I saw what their plan was, and I'm like, "Oh, that's actually a really cool twist. It's a really cool twist. I'm down for it." So, because it's not going to be Norrin Rad, it's going to be somebody else.
The show with Jason Bateman, I can't even think of it. Fuck. But yeah, she was really good. I think she's going to do an awesome job.
Do you know, it's one of the things. I put a tweet about this the other day. It's like, Jack Kirby was so forward thinking, when he was making comics. It's like, do you know, would he if Jack Kirby was still around today and he was making the Silver Surfer, would he have made her female? I don't know, but I'd like to think he probably would.
I think so.
I think so. Do you know what I mean? And if not, would he have a problem that they made the Silver Surfer woman? Fuck no. The dude was awesome. He was again so ahead of his time. He was like, yeah, as long as she's cool and it looks cool, and she's flying a surfboard through space, yeah, it'd be absolutely cool.
I don't like when they get lazy about it. They're like, it's still Norrin Rad, but we just made it a chick. It's like, okay, so you just put no thought into this.
Yeah.
Where this, they actually have a backstory, who she is, how she's involved with Norrin Rad, and I'm like, okay,
that sounds pretty good.
You actually put some thought and effort into this, and I'm like, I could be down for this. That's my whole thing is just give me effort and give me story. Don't just be lazy because you want to change something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the point is like, and let's be honest about the modern MCU. Like, I love the films. You know, in the last 10 years, there's probably been a few that I haven't liked as much as I have in the past. You know, and I think they just need better villains. You know, like the one and done villains. You know, really getting tiresome. And I don't think you need to. You know, like, I've been reading comics for 30 years. It's like, I don't have a problem with like you changing the gender of a character. Like my favorite character is Daredevil. I've just had a run of like Elektra being Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky. It's fucking awesome. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I like you said, Chris. Like you kind of need a reason to do it. And I think, you know, this is me being like, I think when characters first come out, you know, like 50, 60 years ago, they kind of got their powers by accident, or you know, there was an act, you know, something crazy happened of why they got their powers, and we went through like the 80s where like characters kind of earned their status to be that new character. So you'd have someone like, you know, Rhodey becoming Iron Man. You know, he wasn't just like born into it or given it. He was a character that was there for a while before he was given like the mantle, so we knew him. And I think that's where we're kind of lacking, is like characters kind of just get powers for the sake of getting powers. Where I think, you know, they kind of need to like be in the comics like 4 or 5 years before. I mean, again, using Elektra as a great example. You know, she's been around for 30 years, and now she's Daredevil. That's great. Like Ronin is a great example. You know, having Echo. Spoilers if you've not read New Avengers. It was 20 years ago. Like, you know, you had Hawkeye as Ronin. Yeah, you had Hawkeye as Ronin, and he was great. And then Echo took up the mantle, but we knew Echo from Daredevil, and it was like she was like the perfect fit for that character. And I think Krista, I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it's that kind of fault in the storytelling where you're planning this 4 or 5 years ahead of like to put that character into that position rather than going, oh yeah, but you can do this time.
Yeah, we're just gonna make it now, but just flip everything just because we can. It's like, okay, so you're being lazy. Yeah. So Matt, you've been so generous with your time, so you're
getting rid of me.
We're gonna get rid of you. But everybody out there, please check the show notes down below. I'll have links to the Kickstarter, links to the YouTube channel, all that stuff. So make sure you click on those. And
we'll do it.
I Took a Hammer to Hell, number 3. Yep. Thanks, Matt, for stopping by, and we look forward to the next time, man.
Thanks so much.
Next time. Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. For you.
For us.
For us, yes.